The oil price slump has had its share of adverse effects on the biggest oil producers in the world, including Saudi Arabia. According to a report from Bloomberg, Riyadh is planning on covering a budget shortfall caused by slashing prices by borrowing as much as $58 billion this year.
The collapse of oil prices pushed the Saudi kingdom's GDP to drop by more than 3.5% currently, while the Saudi's government budget deficit reaching 15% of the total economic output. This is the worst Saudi economic downturn in more than 2 decades. It's causing the Saudis to have a huge budget deficit, which have a lot of implications in the country.
Bloomberg has cited Saudi Finance Minister Mohammed Al-Jaddan as saying that the kingdom might issue bonds worth $26.57 billion this year, in addition to an earlier issue of $31.88 billion worth of debt. In a separate article, Bloomberg has reported that Aramco, the world's biggest company which is often regarded as the crown jewel of Saudi Arabia, is mulling a $10 billion sale in part of its pipeline business to raise cash. This is absolutely necessary for the company, as its list of financial obligations is getting longer. Aramco has committed to paying out $75 billion of dividends this year. This is apart from another $70 billion it owes as the first installment of acquiring a stake in a chemical producer company. Saudi Arabia and Russia ended a fierce weeks-long oil price war earlier this month, agreeing to slash their output together with other members of the OPEC Plus alliance in an effort to prop up the market that faces a drop in demand due to the coronavirus pandemic. The agreement, however, has so far achieved little success.
They found themselves in a place to reduce as well oil. They need a lot of money. They need to borrow money to control the amount they're producing. This is why we noticed in the United States of America the oil was traded negative, minus 37. They were actually paying the sellers were paying the buyers to buy it.
Making the matters worse for the Saudis is the coronavirus pandemic that has forced the country to halt the Umrah pilgrimage. Hajj and the Umrah account for 20% of the country's non-oil GDP. The Yemen war is another factor weighing on the Saudi economy. The kingdom has spent over $70 billion on weapons purchases since 2018. Yemeni army's retaliatory attacks on Aramco's infrastructure in September also hurt the Saudi economy. Riyadh is bracing for an inevitable blow, as the possibility of the kingdom defaulting on its debts and failing to protect the most vulnerable members of the society are getting very real. The rulers in Riyadh have realized the existential threat to their economy and therefore to the throne. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's reforms plan have not yet come to the rescue either, since infrastructure projects require more funding, which is mostly available through oil sales.
When the Saudis' strategic plans for Mohammed bin Salman, which he called it the Vision 2030, now is lagging behind even the goals to achieve the goals of this year, 2020. There is no funds available there to reinvest in the cornerstone projects he's doing or strategies there. But the result as well of the Yemeni attack on the Saudi Aramco refineries last year was devastating to them.
At this point, what's certain for the Saudis is they need to make more careful decisions to avoid getting past the point of no return.